You're good.
Alright, so before we get into the process of actually frying the chicken, the first step is always gathering your materials, and I want to take a moment to go ahead and go over everything we have here. First, we have our raw chicken. We thawed it in cold water overnight. You don't want to do it in anything but cold water. That's the best thing for it. We have flour right here. It's going to be in a canister on our counter. Made a little mess, but so that's our flour. You're going to need that. That's going to be for the batter. We got 2 bowls, one for the flour and the batter, and then the other one is going to be for the milk and eggs, which is going to be for our wash. I'm going to set this up here. And then next we have our seasonings. We have pepper, parsley, garlic powder, some Creole seasoning, and some seasoned salt. The seasonings are really up to however you want to season it, but that's just what we got going. And then we have vegetable oil for the actual frying of the chicken. That's going to go down in our cast iron skillet. We have some tongs so that we can flip the chicken, keep our hands away from the hot grease. And then the drying rack, we do not actually have a drying rack, but we took a grill out of our oven and have laid it over the sink. That's where we're going to lay out the chicken once it's done, let the grease drain. That's just a little tip if you don't have a draining rack. And that's everything you're going to need. Justin's going to teach you how to actually fry the chicken. For the first part of the cooking process, we're going to need to make the batter. So we're going to start by just putting some flour in a bowl. It doesn't really matter how much, you just need to make sure you have enough to cover all of your chicken. And that should be plenty. Alright, and after you get your flour in the bowl, you're going to add your seasonings. It doesn't really matter what you add, just as long, this part is completely optional. This part is user's choice. You get to add whatever you want to this part. This is just where you want to add the seasonings that you want on the chicken. So we're going to start with some parsley, some Creole seasoning, some seasoned salt, a little pepper, and then a little bit of garlic powder. Alright, after that, you're going to want to mix that up a little bit. Best to probably just do this. Push that around. Alright. Next we're going to make the wash, which is going to take 2 eggs and 1 cup of milk, which we already have ready. I'm going to start with the eggs. And it's always best to crack an egg on a flat surface versus an edge. Alright, get our milk in here. Alright, then we're going to have to mix that up. That's lovely. Get our whisk here. After that's mixed up, if you would like, you can add more seasoning in here, but it's completely not necessary. Alright. And then we're going to get our cast iron skillet and our vegetable oil. We're going to just dump a generous amount in there. We want to make sure there's plenty to get in all the chicken. You don't want to completely submerge the chicken, but you do want to make sure at least half of the chicken is covered. Alright, we're going to set that to low heat. And low heat's going to vary for every stove. If you're using a gas stove, you're going to want to put it on low heat. What I found is the best heat for this particular oven is about in between the 4 and 5. It is an electrical oven, so it's going to be different for each one of them. But we're going to let this warm up, and then we'll get our chicken ready and put it in.
Alright, so now we have our chicken here. It's been rinsed off with cold water. We're going to start off by dipping it in our flour, in our batter. You just want to completely cover every bit of it. We're going to take it out. We're going to dip it in our wash. Mix it around, make sure it gets nice and covered again. Pull it back out and go back in the batter one more time. Get every bit of it, every inch. All right, and then when we're gonna put it in the oil, I advise using tongs, but for me personally, it's just easier to do it this way. We're gonna go real slow by dipping it in and then easing it in. Cut. All right, so after about 10 minutes, or until your breading on your chicken has turned a golden brownish color, we're gonna flip the chicken. Some nice sideways rotation, nice and smooth, preventing any oil from splashing out. Oh yeah, that looks like some good chicken. All right, we're gonna let that sit a little bit and then we're gonna come back in about 10 more minutes. All right, the chicken's been in here for approximately 10 more minutes and it looks like it's about ready to take out. So we're gonna start by just cutting off the oil. And then we're gonna take one piece at a time. Let it drain a little bit right here. And then we have this extra plate here just so we don't get oil all over the floor. We're going to set them on our homemade straining rack here. We're just going to repeat this process one by one. And there they are. We're going to let these drain for a few minutes and then flip them to the other side and let that side drain out as well, and then they'll be ready to plate. All right, now that our chicken's drained, all we have to do is plate it and then it should be ready to eat.
All right, we're all finished with the process of frying chicken. Now that you know how to do it, I've got us a little sample piece here. We're gonna get a guest star in here to go ahead and taste test it for us.